Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. Heavy rotation time. I need to be picking up the pace on these and doing more because my collection is growing like crazy, even though I don't have any room for it. I gotta get creative with my space, I guess. But just because of Voice of America, you know, I don't want every video to be about Voice of America, but it's just kind of been taking my life over for the past few months. Just like every spare minute I have, I'm going through stuff, sorting 45s, all that. So the collection's just so massive and so exhaustive, and there's like, I'm going to be conservative and say I've probably kept somewhere between 800 records from this collection, and out of 100,000, that's not bad. But it's just stuff you never see, white label promos, upgrades. You know, my jazz collection is okay. You know, it's been all right. I've got some good stuff. I think my jazz collection was pretty good. But like so many Blue Notes I didn't have. And I've already at some point said that I would like to get every Blue Note. That's not really realistic, but I would like to get every Blue Note up till like 66 would be nice. You know. But, I mean, that's crazy. But it's a goal that is attainable. I know people who've done it. But anyways, all that to say, there's a lot of jazz, a lot of, in this video, I don't have a ton of jazz just because I want to take my time to sit and listen to that stuff. I've got kind of a process to where this is when I get any record, I get the record in, decide I'm going to keep it. I clean it, sleeve it, bring it home, listen to it, set it in a stack, and then that's what I'm going to put on my heavy rotation videos. And then after I mention it in the heavy rotation video, make sure it's logged on Discogs and it goes on the shelf unless I want to listen to it again. So that's how it goes. And so right now, like I've got just like in boxes, like 400 or 500 that I've not cleaned yet, that I've not been through, that I've not mentioned videos, that I've not listened to yet. So I'm not really ready to talk about them because I've not listened to them yet. So anyways, that's kind of my process. That's where I'm at in it. But I'm going to show you some cool stuff. I'm going to show you the stuff I picked up for Record Store Day that's really cool, and then just some other things like I've picked up from buddies of mine and trades and all that stuff. So first of all, this is a book. I love a good record book. This is Treasures Untold, a modern 78 RPM reader. This was put out by Tompkins Square. It's a very cool book about 78s. I don't know a lot about 78s. I know a little bit about like ones to look for, but I really don't know, like as far as like my collecting, that's kind of a blind spot. I have maybe 20 78s in my collection that are all like blues and stuff. So this is really cool. I don't feel like I didn't hear many people talking about this, but I bought this and I just anything I can get knowledge out of. There's so much knowledge that is not on the internet or not compiled in a way that you can process it in a productive way. But this is really cool. There's a lot of cool pictures in it. I can't wait to sit down and really read this thing. Very, very cool. It's shaped like a 78, same size. Very thoughtful, good presentation. So that came out on Record Store Day. Hopefully there's still some around and people can get them, just because anything that's a blind spot for me that I don't know about, I want to know about. I want to figure out just like what, because the people that are 78 collectors are nuts, you know, and I mean, I'm nuts. So, and they're nuts in a good way. I'm not cracking at them. Like I love people that are just zoned into what they collect and they're laser focused and they're crazy about it. I love that. I love meeting people like that and trying to figure out why their brains work the way they do, just because I'm like, hey, maybe I would like it. But also for Record Store Day, there was, which I haven't listened to this yet, this 13th Floor Elevators that came out live at Houston Music Theater in 1967. Can't wait to spin that one. I just got that one home. And then this is the one I was probably most excited about, was this Chrissy Zebby Tembo. I did not even know that Now Again was doing this. This is I'm Not Made of Iron. This is his unreleased self-titled record. So basically he had this unreleased record that for years and years, it was only like fabled to exist. When I first started collecting Zamrock, I heard about it, but I don't even think it was on Discogs back then. And people were like, there's this Chrissy Zebby Tembo record that no one's ever heard that's out there somewhere. And it didn't come with a cover and nobody knows what it sounds like. And it was just this like really weird mythical thing. And so as I was trying to figure out which Zamrock records that I wanted to collect and look for, that was on top of the list. Like if I could find one, that would be holy grail. A buddy of mine ended up finding one and ripped it and put it on YouTube, so we knew what it sounded like and stuff like that. This was like years ago when Zamrock was such a fairy tale. It was so weird because like there was all this music that everybody knew everything about. Like, I mean, even the rarest jazz and hard rock and stuff, like people know about it. Zamrock is like something out there in the, and still what's crazy is there could be Zamrock albums out there that no one's found yet. You know, so anyways, all that to say, they finally had it released, and what's cool about this and me is that I have one now. This is what it looks like. And, you know, this is actually, I bought this from Egon, the head of Now Again Records. So this could have been used, I don't know. This could have been used for the transfer. I don't know. It probably wasn't. It's sitting a great copy, but it's good. It's pretty decent. But I highly recommend grabbing this because the odds of you finding an original are slim to none. And since it didn't have a cover, only ones that have ever come up have been destroyed. So very cool. But Chrissy Zebby Tembo was a part of the Ngozi family. It is the like most guitar heavy fuzz guitar Zamrock I think that there probably is. You know, Paul Ngozi plays guitar on on both of Chrissy Zebby Tembo's records. So anyways, it's fuzzy, it's killer. This, in my opinion, was the best record store I released because it was a record that actually needed to be released. Won't get into that. Here's some more that I've gotten just from around, like friends and stuff. This one's Bruce Vanderpool, Bittersweet. This is a very cool acid folk record. This is like a fringe early James Taylor sound. I never thought of it that way. I always like thought of it as this really cool acid psych record, really acid folk rather. Very DIY, sweet vocals, really good stuff. And I've been looking for a clean copy for a long time, and a buddy of mine I knew had it, and he ended up selling it to me. So I get it in and bring it in the shop, and I put it on, and we're all listening to it and everything. And a couple of guys in there were ripping on me. They're like, "This is a pretty expensive James Taylor record," you know, because it does sound kind of like James Taylor. But anyways, it's a really cool record. I like it a lot. I'm glad to finally get a copy. It's a very enjoyable listen. I feel like if you like just singer-songwriter, acoustic type stuff, it's not really bad. It's not far out there or anything like that. It's really cool. Bruce Vanderpool, Bittersweet. Great record. Another one. This one came in a random box of records in the shop a while back. This is Joel Fairstein, Umbra. This is a record I'd never heard of before, but with that cover, you're going to have to listen to it. So I grabbed it, cleaned it, listened to it, and decided it was staying with me. Really like kind of jazz funky. It reminded me a little bit of Placebo. Really cool record, but it's a U.S. private press kind of jazz funk record that I was like, oh, let's see what else. I'm trying to show everything that's not Voice of America first. Yeah, this is all Voice of America stuff. This one, Wendell Harrison, Organic Dream. Wendell Harrison's known to be out there, kind of jazz, funk, free jazz, avant-garde type. But this is not too out there. It's very good, like palatable soul jazz. Private press. It's on, it might not be private press. Wind High Records. It's just small label, I guess, but really good. Kind of like soul jazz, spiritual jazz type stuff. Very cool record. Anything Wendell Harrison, I try to get. Some other ones, Crocodile, An Invisible World Revealed. This was the only Crocodile record I did not have. This is Krautrock. So some like prog rock from Germany. Really great record. Fantastic. I've been looking for one forever. And somebody I knew was selling this and this, Tear Gas, UK hard rock. Really good, heavy, you know, deep purpley hard rock. Yeah, great stuff. And then this one too, $100 Fine by The Litter. This is the last Litter record I needed also. I had the other originals. This is $100 find is just one I've not been able to find. And yeah, so thrilled to get this one. It's not in too bad a shape. They're usually pretty trash when they come up. And then this one, Cuero Tiempo Después. This is Argentinian, like hard rock, blues rock type thing. This guy that I knew on Instagram was selling some records, and this was one of them. They're all supposed to be VG Plus or better, and I'll let you be the judge on that. Yeah. So I was like, hey bro, what the heck? So it's kind of one of those things. I do have a turntable that I have two different turntables. I have the big boy turntable that plays like only things that are near mint. It doesn't touch anything that's VG or anything like that. And then I have like just this Audio Technica one that I will play Zamrock stuff that's not super clean or whatever on. So I have two different ones. So I popped this one on there, and you know, it sounds like a fireplace, you know. But and he was just like, you know, they're hard to find clean. So I figured, you know, VG Plus. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter how hard they are to find clean. That's not, you know. Anyway, so that's kind of the risk of buying from people when you're buying outside of a sales platform. You kind of take in their word for what the condition's going to be like. But anyways, we worked it out and everything's fine. I'm not mad about it. It's nice to have one just because they were really hard to find. But, you know, it's one of those things. Condition is in the eye of the beholder. This one is killer too. This is Roxelona La Bruja. Really good hard rock from Spain. Just like face-melting guitar solos. Really, really fantastic record. I got this one from a buddy as well, but yeah, really, really good one. I've had this one for probably 6 months, and I just keep pulling it out and listening to it. You know, it's kind of been in my stack of stuff I'm going to file away, and it just doesn't ever make it. I always pull it out and spin it again. It's just really, it's just a strong, it's like Banger. If you like that record, The Storm, that we did an exclusive of, same vein. It's Spanish, it's hard rock, it's great guitars, it's... Speaking of exclusives, I've been wanting a Joe Pritchard for a long time. This is Joe Pritchard of Gibraltar. Riding Easy Records reissued this, and we did an exclusive of it. And the originals are super hard to find. This one's a beautiful copy, still in the shrink. This is one that, you know, I had to pay up for it because these don't come around. But I'm glad I did. It's a very nice copy, tip top, in the shrink, all that stuff. And then it came with this sweet letter. And it says, this came from CBS. It's from Harold Kleiner, January 9th, 1974. It says, Joe Pritchard, these guys are really good in their genre. I did the quad version of REO Speedwagon's last LP, and I can honestly say this group plays circles around them. I understand REO puts on a great show, but without seeing Joe Pritchard's group, there's no way of telling who's better. Therefore, they should be seen. Just a very good, like, and this is like a real deal. This was not a, you know, it's got a watermark on it and everything. This is the original, you know, CBS letterhead. Very, very cool that was in there. And it's signed by, you know, Harold Kleiner, who did the mastering for that REO Speedwagon. Anyway, it's just kind of a cool, but yeah, that's a banger record. It's real jammy. It's like there's a little bit of flute in there, but it's not like, I know what you're thinking, like, oh gosh, but it's a tasteful amount of flute. And just real, like, long form jams, really good guitar work on there. I would recommend listening to it. We still have a handful of copies left on our website, which I will put in the description of this video, but I highly recommend it. Joe Pritchard's good stuff. Okay, we're going to break into some Voice of America things here. The one, like, well, this is the one I was probably most excited about getting when I realized I was going to be able to buy the top tier stuff. This is one I saw up there before. This Todd Clark group. Really hard record to find. I've had this record forever, Into the Vision. Yeah, it's a cool record. This one actually has... I think they made more copies of this. We'll start from the beginning with him. Okay, so Todd Clark was Native American, and had like, he had like strong ties to the Native American community and started making, like, he's a political activist and things like that, but he also started making like psychedelic music. It's a really wild combo, but fantastic, like experimental. He used a lot of like electronics and stuff like theremins and synthesizers and stuff like that, and it was real psychedelic out there. And he was like beyond when that was cool, you know. This was like mid 70s, so like the whole psychedelic thing happened in the mid to late 60s, and you know, by the time the 75 rolled around, this was not really, people weren't really doing this anymore. I think these were more, this was a more widely distributed record than that, than the one I found in Voice of America was. I've had this record for a long time. But this one had Alan Ravenstein from Pere Ubu in it, and then it also had Cheetah Chrome from Dead Boys played on this as well. So this one is a cool, like, it probably got a lot more attention. But I've had this fun, and this is like a $30 record. It's not a break the bank, huge, expensive one. I mean, you could look, all of his covers, like he like cuts pictures of himself out, and like you could tell he probably made it on like a photocopier or something. But this one is one I'd never seen in person. Really, really super rare. It's called We're Not Safe. This one's really far out. This one's a lot heavier than that one is, and I was just excited to get it, listen to it, and it's just an absolute wild acid trip. Yeah, so it's just super heavy. He's a really interesting guy. He put out a lot of really weird stuff. He started like in the mid 70s and probably into the mid 80s was putting stuff out, and then like I think he got married and started having kids, and anyway, so he kind of stopped doing music. But very cool that I found this one in the Voice of America, because it's private press. Almost everything in Voice of America was major label, because the labels were sending this stuff in to be played on the radio. But I guess some people were like, hey, I like to have my album played, and they throw it in there. But there's not a whole lot of private press stuff, but there's a little bit. This one I thought I'd just show again. I think I probably already showed it. But this one, this Rocket to Russia promo, oh my gosh, I'm just in love with it. Very cool. This is, I think I briefly mentioned this in the video where I was showing everything that I bought. This is a RL Monarch, and I already had a RL. I had a Presswell pressing of it, and it sounded great. Really good sounding pressing. Love it. But I don't know what the heck. Put this one on. Every record sounds different also. Like, you know, it depends on when the stampers were, you know, you could get something that was like first one off the stampers. You don't know, you know, like, I mean, oh God, this is like really in the weeds record jargon, but like, something that's pressed, like the more time a stamper is used, every time, like the last record that they press on that stamper does not sound as good as the first one. The first ones always sound better and crispier. And then like everybody that says that white label promos are the first one off the stamper, so they sound better, they were making thousands of white label promos. So yeah, there might have been some like at the beginning, but they probably weren't using the same stampers as they were using for everything else. You could get lucky and get something that's a hot, fresh off the stamper, and it's just a regular version that they switched out the stampers, and then they started doing. So every record sounds different for that reason. This one sounds incredible. I mean, it's light and day better than the other one I had, which is really weird, but it's also cleaner. This one is, it's VG plus, you know, let's add another plus in there. I don't know if I'd call it near mint, but it is a very, very nice, very clean copy, and it's a Monarch. So I'm not saying the Monarchs sound better. I don't know, but this thing is unbelievable. I had it last night because I was like, I'm going to listen to it. I don't think I'm going to sell it just because it's a RL. I don't have a Monarch. I've always wanted one. I've had a couple Monarchs in the past, but they've not been clean, like really clean, so I sell them. This one is a lifetime keeper. That one I probably will never get rid of, because just holy crap. And it's so crazy that like my system, like you could turn it up really loud, and at a certain point it will start clipping, you know, it'll start like, you'll get a level of distortion if you turn it up past that record's capability. You know what I mean? This one you turn up really loud and it does not max out. It does not clip. It is just loud. It's amazing. It sounds, there's no distortion. It sounds incredible. I'm not going to go on any longer about it because I know I'm just a Led Zeppelin nerd and you guys probably don't care, but it's cool. I'm excited about it. This is a killer jazz one. Here comes Lewis Smith. Probably one of the rarest Blue Notes that was in the collection. I was stoked to get it. Brought it home. I mean, and this one is mega clean too. I mean, look at this OG Blue Note. No scratches at all. Super clean. But this was a very rare one to get, and when they do pop up, they're like VG. But this is all-star lineup. You got Duke Jordan, Tommy Flanagan, Doug Watson, Art Taylor, Buckshot LaFunk, who that was another nickname for Cannonball Adderley. I don't know if I think he used that nickname before he started using Cannonball Adderley. I think. I'm not sure. But I posted this on Instagram and got an interesting comment from a gentleman. He said that this was one of the only non-RVG Blue Notes because it was originally supposed to be a transition record. So the label Transition, which some great stuff on Transition, but it's a little bit farther out, you know, type of jazz stuff. But that's an interesting, I didn't know that, you know, always good to know. With jazz, it's kind of one of those things, I know enough about jazz to be able to buy and sell it fairly well. You know, I know what to look for, which ones are supposed to have the deep groove, where the circle R's are supposed to be, the plastic P's, all that stuff. I know a decent amount about jazz records, but I still have a lot to learn. You know, there's a lot more to it than just the nuances of different pressings and things like that. Like there's so much about jazz. I know a lot for your average Joe. I know a lot, but it's so deep and it's such a, you know, I know a lot more about rock than I do jazz. So with this collection, I'm looking forward to learning more. You know, I love jazz. I've always loved jazz, but I've in the past few years really let myself dive into it and start to collect it and learn more about it. So this has been a huge learning experience for me. I'm learning a bunch about jazz, but maybe you guys can help me with something. I think I know because I figured it out. But I had this record, and this Sun Ra record. I've never seen another one. I bought it in a collection in Florida like 2 years ago, and never seen another one. This is Horizon, which Horizon normally does not have that cover. It's usually a different cover. Then I bought this one at when I was in DC. He showed me the cover and I was like, oh, I have that. It's Horizon. I have that. Very cool. And so when I was buying the collection, I didn't even really look hard at it. I brought it, put it home, and put it in my box, brought it home. And as I'm shooting the video, you can see like a little bit of confusion on my face when I pull it out and look at it, because it's not Horizon. It's my favorite things. Yeah, my favorite things, recorded in Philadelphia in 1977. It's got this paste on that's on the back cover. So I saw the label and I was like, that doesn't say Horizon on it. That's weird. It also doesn't say my favorite things on it. So I was like, well, whatever. I'll look into it after the video. And sure enough, this is a different record, but it has the exact same cover. The reason why, asked the local Biography, Dave, who he knows a lot about Sun Ra. He has the Sun Ra Bible, which I should probably get. It's a book. I don't know much about it, but I ask him to look things up every once in a while. But apparently, so many of these covers were handmade. They just make like a random cover and slap a record with it. But they're both original L Saturns, and because they're both different, I'm keeping them. I'd like to get a lot of the handmade cover, Sun Ra, stuff like that. I do really like Sun Ra, but that is like a whole nother level of like collectability, because a lot of their stuff was handmade and is really, really rare. It's so punk rock of jazz, you know what I mean? Really far out there too. I think I showed this to a Man Who Sold the World. It's a white label promo. That's absolutely beautiful. This Bernard Purdie, Pretty Good, is fantastic. I've been wanting this record for so long. There's some such like nasty guitar riffs on here, stuff like that. But Bernard Purdie is just such a legendary drummer. He's on so much stuff. But this one, Jazz Dispensary just reissued this fairly recently, the past couple years at least. And this is an absolute fantastic record. Was really stoked to get this MC5 white label promo. Now, because these were meant to be played on the radio, it is a censored version. They didn't make a white label promo with the F word in it. But still very cool. I already have I have an uncensored one. I've had an uncensored one forever. I've got a really nice uncensored one. It's like near mint. So this one is cool. There was the Stooges promos. This, having a white label promo of this was very cool as well. A couple people have been asking me if that was in there. There was only one. I'm keeping it. And then this Eddie Gale's Ghetto Music. The same collection I bought that Sunrise in Florida. There was one of these in there, but it was a German. So there was a 68 German press, and then there was a 68 US press. This is the US. So I've been wanting a US press of it, but this one's an absolute killer record. Really cool self-portrait Bob Dylan. It's got a timing strip on the front and a timing strip on the back because it's a double LP. This isn't a white label. It's just a regular label, but I like to get all the Bob Dylans with the timing strip. That one was really cool. There was only one of those. Same with this, Sir Lord Baltimore. This is a top copy. And it's a white label promo. Kingdom Come. If you're just getting into like, you know, going into a little bit deeper waters, this is one of those first records that grabbed me. Those hard rock records like Bang, Mother Bow to the King, Bang self-titled, all the Sir Lord Baltimores. This is just absolute pinnacle, a little bit under the radar, heavy rock from the early 70s. Great record, but they're hard to find in good shape. This one, on top of being just an absolute tip-top copy, has the white label promo. Same with this one as well, the self-titled Sir Lord Baltimore with the white label. Just stunning copy. And then these also, this is in the same territory, essential early 70s heavy rock, Bull Angus, Free for All. I've had a copy of this forever, but this one had the promo sticker and it's a white label and it's in phenomenal shape. And same with the Bull Angus self-titled as well. It's got the recommended cuts and the white label. And so those, I mean, it's, even though these are not like really expensive records or anything like that, it's just so cool, you know. And then last but not least is this Uriah Heep, Demons and Wizards. It's got the recommended cuts and it's got the white label. This is a record, you know, it's got such a wicked cover. And when you put it on, you're expecting to hear something really heavy. It's not really that heavy. It has heavy moments, but it's just like, for some reason over the years, not grabbed me. I've listened to it a few times and I'm like, I just don't get, like, it's not that great to me. Uriah Heep is decent, you know, decent stuff. But over the past like year, I've been revisiting them all. And this one I listened to the other day because I was like, this is a white label promo. This is really clean. I'm going to listen to this and make sure I don't want it. And it is really good. It's not so heavy. It's not the heaviest record in the world, but it is super, super good. There's a lot of organ in there. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. Maybe you think I'm crazy, but so sometimes a record just has to hit you right. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But this one is a fantastic record, and I'm hanging on to this one. You know, I get it. I really do like it. So, anyways, you know, it's been really good lately. The Voice of America thing's been really cool. Man, had a really mixed response on it. I mean, I've had so many. It is either people either love it or absolutely hate it. And I've never bought a collection that is so triggering to people. Like, you know, it's got, people are like, the writing on the cover, oh my God. Like, you have to be such a snob to not see the significance of it. Like, this is a provenance. You have the catalog number on the cover, on the label. You couldn't fake this. Like, this comes from the Voice of America, one of the most iconic radio stations of all time. And so, like, you have to ask yourself, are you a vinyl snob? Like, you just want, or do you like things actually for the music and the significance of it? Like, I don't know. I'm not knocking on anybody that has to have a near mint copy of something. I'm usually that way. But when it comes to this stuff, it's so cool and it's so clean. And it's like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. But leave me alone. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to, like, try to, like, insult like people, I've never had so many insults, people knocking on me so hard, but at the same time, I've never had so many people so grateful that they're able to get a piece of it. So anyways, thank you everybody. That's been really nice. I appreciate it. And leave me a comment. I miss you guys. I need to get on here more often, but thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.